Oh wow, we have Pegasus Flying Horse by LEGO DREAMZzz, set number 71457. Contains 482 bricks, retails for $49.99, and this set was provided by the LEGO Group for early review. And what is this, My Little Pony, but on the dark side? It's hard to say. And here we have the top of the box with the minifigures. So we have Zoey, Nova, Susan, and Nightmare King. Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's a My Little Pony just in nightmare form. That's pretty much what it is. And just by looking at this, it's not giving me that happy vibes, but well, let's take a look. First, we're going to start off with the minifigures. So off to the left, we have Zoey. Then we have Nova. Susan, that's kind of a weird name for that ugly thing, and Nightmare King. And we got a nice set of figures here, and we got a carrot and a purple bow and arrow. And for the most part, they do have nice print work for front and back of the torsos. He has a hard time standing up, or she. And yeah, these are not too bad, and I believe that they all have double-sided heads. Next we have some flying bird thing. I don't know its name, and yeah, it is pretty flexible. The head moves, and the wings can flap up and down and stuff like that, and it's also a rideable figure, so we can stick her on there. And she's got the hourglasses. She's got to time this ugly thing here on the right, which looks some kind of like a creature. It looks more like a prison. So I guess you can throw her in there, and I can't remember her name already because I already went absent-minded, which is Nova. So you can throw her in there, and it looks like the thing ate her up. Well, she stays in there. Let's see. I think you're meant to stick her on the thing, or we can just have her sit down in there. I don't know. She's not going to cooperate. So there you go. And for the most part, that's not too bad. And then she's got the hourglass, so she could time and see how fast she gets out of that. But for the most part, though, these creatures are playable. Yeah, nice color scheme for this bird, but for this, yeah, it seems a bit on the dark side. I guess it's something supposed to represent the nightmare world. Now we have this bat-looking thing, and eyes printed and stuff like that. It looks like it's got a bed hanging off its back, so and pretty much that's what this is. And the wings do flap around, and the really bony legs are flexible as well, so you can move things around and stuff like that. And you can also have a minifigure sit in there too. So that's pretty cool. So she could sit and fly this thing around and see the sights. But this thing here can get pretty flimsy in terms of sitting up, but for the most part though, it's an interesting ugly build. And finally we have Pegasus, the main attraction in this build, and for the most part it's a nice looking horse, just a bit on the dark side. Looks more like Darth Vader's pet than anything else. So here we got the tail that moves and kind of does that, and all her limbs do move, so she can even sit down as she wants, but she's mostly stable if you keep her up like that. And despite how flimsy it looks, it's actually pretty strong, so nothing has fallen off except for the head, which looks more like a hammer than anything else. And you can have the Nightmare King rider if you want. So just do that, or just have him sit down. And yeah, we even got a carrot to feed her too. Isn't that cool? Well, she doesn't want to eat the carrot. Sometimes she doesn't want to do that, so she'll just go like this with her nose and feed it until it falls off. And and I figure when I was doing the initial build, we were messing around with that, and this is probably the only fragile thing on her is the head. And I don't think a lot of people are going to do what I just did there. I wish this was attached a bit firm, so don't use Pegasus' nose as a hammer to pound in the carrot into the table. But anyways, though, it is a nice build. It's just a bit on the dark, gloomy side. But despite of how this feels, it just feels a bit loose. But she's pretty strong, though. She doesn't kind of wobble around. I mean, this is pretty sturdy. I mean, I wouldn't want to go in and jump on it or anything like that, or try to sit on it, but it's a pretty sturdy build. So even the Nightmare King can go out and do things. And we can put the carrot somewhere too, and too bad her mouth doesn't open up. We can stick the carrot in so she can eat it. So we'll stick the carrot up here too. So if she runs out of energy, the Nightmare King can just give her a recharge. Let's dive on into the review with play value. And as you saw, everything is pretty much playable. We do have our figures and this mouth thing. And of course we got Pegasus the hammering horse. And yeah, and this flying stuff. And for the most part, it's got good imaginative play with this set, so whoever's going to get this is probably not going to be shortchanged with play value. As far as for mock value, there is some good building techniques that could be used for other builds, or you can build a theme along with this, so there's plenty of stuff to do there. Now for build quality, it's for the most part pretty sound. I did have the head fall off when Pegasus took a face plant, and then of course this thing here, I was trying to put some of this stuff on here, these little bars would come off, but other than that it's pretty much a sound build, so everything's movable and stuff like that. For build experience, it's a bit of a different story. For the most part it was just average. I think it might be the color setting this off. This wasn't too bad to put together. Pegasus was okay, but I think it's just the dark, gloomy, dreary colors of this. Just imagine if this was probably pink or some would look really good. But for me, it was nothing special in terms of build experience. It was just average. Now, is this a collaborative build? Not quite. Bag 5 built this. Bag 1, I think, built some of the figures and these two items here. But bags 2, 3, and 4 built maybe 1 or 2 of the figures and Pegasus. So it's not divided up evenly for other people to build along. So sadly, that is its shortcoming. And I'm going to say my final score on this set is probably an 8.5. Now, it did come with a brick separator, and it did have some stickers. It did have an issue to its stickers, but not too bad. I think the reason I'm going to ding this down is that it just couldn't really keep an adult's interest. I know this probably would keep a child's interest, but it was just the colors. But for the most part, though, it is playable, and you do get accessories. Now, Pegasus Flying Horse retails for $49.99, and I think it's worth it for what you're getting. Like I mentioned, you do get several minifigures, a few other figures, and 3 smaller builds along with Pegasus. So, yeah, I think honestly it is fairly priced, pretty reasonably. So if you think this set is really good, let me know in the comments below, or tell me what you like or dislike about it. For me, it was nothing special, but it does look okay. I think it's just the color scheme that just kind of sets me off with this one.